We all celebrate New Year. But here's the real kicker. The world never fully agreed on when the year actually begins. For thousands of years, different cultures chose different days. Empires changed calendars. Religions changed calendars. Whole nations lived in different years at the same time. And the date we use today? Yeah, that wasn't nature. It was power, straight up. And once you see that, the story hits different. If you like smart history, like and subscribe. Now, let's dive in. The question nobody thinks about. We celebrate this day every year. No questions asked, but almost nobody asks why. Who decided this was the start of the year? And how did their choice overwrite every other one? This wasn't random. It was politics, authority, control. To understand this date, we rewind time back to the moment when time itself got redesigned, where power called the shots and calendars followed. And once you see who shaped the calendar, you realize something deeper. Time isn't neutral. It's a power move designed by people in charge a long time ago, when the world didn't agree on when a year starts. For some civilizations, the year kicked off with spring, not winter. A new year meant new crops, new life, fresh start, straight up. Other cultures, their year began when trade reopened after harsh seasons. For some societies, the year shifted around religion and ritual. Midsummer New Year's, spring New Year's, even autumn New Year's. No one was on the same page, not even close. Some cultures followed the moon. Others followed the sun. Some tried to balance both, one foot in each system. And every kingdom said, our way is the right way. But when they signed agreements, their calendars didn't match. Trade records clashed, deals got confusing. Time itself argued. One world, dozens of New Years, all running at once. And here's the kicker. Nobody thought they were wrong. Every culture believed their start date carried meaning. Some tied time to nature. Some tied it to harvest. Some tied it to faith and the turning of the soul. The result? One planet, countless versions of the beginning, and none of them matched the one we use today. Back then, time wasn't universal. It was cultural, and every culture believed their beginning was the one that mattered. A time when New Year started in March. For many cultures, spring wasn't just a season. It was the reset point. New work, new growth, new life. That felt like the real beginning of the year. March wasn't month number 3. Back then, it was month number 1. Straight up. The calendar once started right here. Life restarted in spring. Markets reopened. Movement returned. People celebrated renewal, not fireworks. Rebirth. Winter ended. The world woke up. Time moved forward again. Records, taxes, contracts, all reset in March. Trade restarted. Daily life restarted. The calendar followed reality. For many societies, time wasn't driven by politics. It was astronomical, tied to the sky itself. Spring meant hope, growth, and second chances. And honestly, that rhythm made sense to people. The story only changes later, when power rewrites the calendar. Because March wasn't replaced by accident, it was replaced by authority, the system calling the shots. But for centuries, nobody questioned March. To them, this was the true beginning. Life didn't restart in winter. It restarted when the world did. And for a long time, March wasn't just a month. It was New Year. When the calendar started breaking reality, at first, the calendar and the seasons lined up. Everything made sense. But over time, the dates started drifting, bit by bit. Suddenly the calendar said spring, But the world outside said, nah, not yet. Days slipped, months shifted, reality and time stopped lining up. Navigators trusted the sky, but the calendar didn't match the stars anymore. Even rituals drifted. Holy days landed on the wrong seasons. Merchants comparing mismatched ledgers. The farther it drifted, the more the world felt out of sync. Planting schedules broke. Farming took the hit first. Scholars warned leaders, this system's falling apart. But politics stalled it. Nobody wanted to admit the problem. And year after year, reality kept moving, but the calendar didn't. Storms hit early, crops failed, timing got dangerous. Scientists measured the sky and proved it straight up. The calendar was wrong, completely out of step with nature. And here's the kicker. The longer they waited, the worse it got. Time wasn't just inaccurate anymore. It was breaking real-world life. The system wasn't just drifting. It was breaking reality itself. And leaders finally realized something had to change. Julius Caesar resets time. By this point, the old calendar was falling apart. Months slipped. Seasons mismatched. Reality and time stopped lining up. Leaders argued, but nobody fixed it. Then Caesar stepped in and said, enough. We're resetting time. He called scientists, thinkers, sky watchers. They built a new system, one locked to the sun, not guesswork. Days realigned, seasons matched again. And with one decision, the world got a new calendar. January 1 wasn't just a date anymore. It became the start of the year by law. Administration reset here, taxes reset here, and across the empire, everyone followed. This wasn't tradition. This was power, calling the shots. One decision and time itself got rewritten. Not because nature chose it, but because Caesar did. And once that change took hold, time became a tool of authority, a calendar built for control and for running an empire. The god with two faces. In ancient Rome, this wasn't just a statue. It was a message. One face looked to the past, but in the other face looked straight into the future. Janus was the god of beginnings, endings, and transitions. He ruled over doors, gateways, and turning points in life. So Rome named a month after him, January, a month built to remind people. Look back, and then move forward. It was a time to remember mistakes, victories, lessons, and then step into the next year with intention. This wasn't about fireworks or noise. It was about reflection and responsibility. The past face, memory, accountability, honesty. The future face, growth, change, new beginnings. January wasn't random, it was symbolic. On purpose. The month itself became a message. Leave what's behind you. Step into what's ahead. Stand between two worlds, yesterday and tomorrow, and understand both before moving forward. That's why January mattered. It wasn't just the start of the year. It was a checkpoint in life, a reminder to look back, and then walk forward with purpose. The world pushes back. Rome said, January 1st is the new year. End of discussion. But across the map, a lot of places said, yeah, we're not doing that. Some regions kept spring as their new year, season over empire. Others tied the year to faith and ritual, not politics. Autumn New Year's, spring New Year's, local calendars held their ground. Two systems, same world, totally different timelines. For many communities, nature decided the year, not government. Leaders said, our new year has meaning. We're not giving that up. But that choice came with problems. Documents clashed, dates didn't match, confusion stacked fast. One agreement, two different New Years. The world wasn't synchronized anymore. But to them, tradition mattered more than convenience. Their New Year wasn't just a date. It was identity, memory, history. Empire pushed one direction. People pushed back the other way. This wasn't just a calendar fight. It was power versus tradition. And in many places, tradition didn't fold. It outlived the law. Kingdoms that started the year on holy days. In parts of Europe, the calendar didn't answer to politics. It answered to faith. Some kingdoms began the year on Christmas, a moment symbolizing birth, hope, and renewal. Others started the year on Easter, a celebration of resurrection and new beginnings. So time itself followed religion, not the state. Records, taxes, royal decrees, all reset on holy days. And different kingdoms chose different sacred beginnings. One continent, several spiritual calendars. For them, New Year wasn't about clocks. It was about the soul. Their time didn't restart with winter or government. It restarted with faith and meaning. Even when empires pushed January 1st, religious leaders said, "Our year begins with God," and whole kingdoms stood by that choice. Because for them, time wasn't just practical. It was sacred, a calendar shaped by belief and rooted in worship. For these kingdoms, New Year didn't belong to rulers. It belonged to faith, total calendar chaos. One followed January 1st. The other followed a different New Year entirely. Same day on paper, different year in reality. Two people sign a contract, and they're not even living in the same year. One side records 1462. The other records 1463. Same moment, different timeline. Lawyers debated which year the deal belonged to. Taxes were late in one system, early in another. Ships left next year, or this year, depending on who wrote it. Farming schedules clashed, harvest counts got messy. Even religious events landed in different years. Paperwork turned into organized confusion. One world, but no shared clock. Scholars called it chaos, straight up. Business slowed. Trade took the hit. Treaties risked collapse. All because the years didn't match. Time wasn't just confusing anymore. It was splitting reality in two. And everyone knew this couldn't last. A world divided by dates, and running out of patience. The moment time became a problem. At first, the drift felt small, harmless, easy to ignore. But slowly, the calendar slipped farther from reality. Navigators trusted the sky, but their dates no longer matched the heavens. One wrong date, and a voyage drifted off course. Scientists ran experiments, but time labels didn't line up. Results were harder to compare. Truth got blurry. Farmers paid the price first. Fields failed because the calendar said plant now, and nature said no. Food cycles slipped. Storage plans broke. Even rituals landed in the wrong time of year. People felt it. Life no longer matched the calendar. Merchants lost money. Delivery dates clashed. Arguments broke out over what day, or even what year, things happened. Scholars warned leaders, time is drifting and the costs are real. But politics stalled. Nobody wanted to make the call. And every year, the gap widened. Navigation, science, farming, religion. Piece by piece, everything started breaking. And the world finally realized this wasn't just a mistake. It was a problem time itself couldn't outrun. The calendar reset that deleted days. By the 1500s, the drift was undeniable. The calendar no longer matched the sun, straight up. So leaders authorized a bold fix. The Gregorian reform. Scientists redesigned the year with tighter accuracy. They introduced new leap year rules to keep time locked to the seasons. And to realign everything, they deleted days from the calendar. 1 week existed on paper, And then it was gone. People went to sleep one date and woke up in a different one. Religious festivals snapped back into the right season. Farming schedules finally matched reality. Navigation and science regained precision. But not every nation switched right away. For years, two time systems existed side by side. Contracts, letters, treaties, all needed translation between dates. Slowly, the world adjusted to the reset, and time lined up with nature again. It took courage and a week that vanished, but the reform saved the calendar before reality moved too far beyond it. Countries that switched centuries later, for generations, some nations stayed with the old system. They resisted the new calendar, politics, pride, tradition, but sooner or later, the pressure stacked up. Trade got messy, science fell out of sync, diplomacy got harder, so a decision finally dropped. The country would switch. On one specific night, the old calendar would end. And the next morning, people would wake up in a different calendar. They went to bed in one year and opened their eyes in another. Shops rewrote ledgers, courts rewrote cases. People relearned the rhythm of time itself. Holy days shifted. Traditions moved with the new grid. Some were confused, others frustrated, but most understood. The world was moving forward, and this switch finally brought them back in step. Time matched science again. Trade made sense again. It wasn't just a date change. It was a shift in how a nation understood time. One night changed everything, and a country woke up in a brand new calendar. Cultures that never switched at all. Even after reforms, some cultures kept their own calendars. They didn't abandon tradition. They ran it alongside the Western one. Lunar calendars followed the moon, not the sun. And New Year arrived with cycles of light and shadow. Others tied New Year to spring and renewal, not January. For them, time began when the world came back to life. Some marked New Year with reflection, memory, and accountability. A calendar built around soul, not schedule. And some even count a different year entirely. Two calendars, same day, two meanings. Western time for business, cultural time for identity, modern life, and ancient rhythm, running side by side. Not competing calendars, but parallel worlds of time. Because for many cultures, time isn't just measurement. It's memory, identity, continuity, and they refused to let that disappear. So they kept their New Years, while the Western date carried on beside it. One planet, multiple beginnings, and traditions that never stepped aside. Lunar New Year, same season, different meaning. One celebration, but dozens of identities. This New Year doesn't follow the sun. It follows the moon, rhythm, cycle, renewal. Same season as Western New Year, totally different meaning. Here, the year begins with family and reunion. Respect for elders, blessings for the future. Energy, culture, history moving through the streets. It's not about fireworks and countdowns. It's about gratitude, memory, protection. One festival, many traditions. Different foods, different customs, same heartbeat. Whole cities move just to be together. For some, this isn't just a new year. It's heritage, passed down through time. Old wisdom taught to new generations. A celebration of protection, luck, and fresh beginnings. Same world, same season, but two different meanings of time. And neither replaces the other. They exist together, like two stories sharing the same night. Nowruz, the new year of light and renewal. This new year doesn't follow politics. It follows nature, light, balance, renewal. Before it begins, people reset life from the inside out. Symbols of hope, growth, patience, protection. Every item, a reminder of what truly matters. Nowruz isn't just a date, it's togetherness. Journeys are made just to be home. Old worries are burned away. New courage steps forward. Life refreshes inside and out. Not a political system, not a law. A calendar rooted in the earth itself. New Year means new life, new responsibility, and gratitude for what survived the winter. The future begins with kindness, not countdown clocks. For millions, this is the beginning that feels true. Different date, same world, but a deeper meaning of time. A new year born from light and from renewal. Rosh Hashanah, a new year of reflection. This new year doesn't start with noise or countdown clocks. It begins with memory, awareness, and humility. The sound of the shofar calls people inward, a reminder to pause and look honestly at the past year. Actions remembered, choices reviewed, promises revisited. Old mistakes are released, not erased, but learned from. Letting go, so growth can begin. This new year is about kindness and accountability, a sweet symbol. Hope for better actions in the year ahead. Tradition teaches values, generation to generation. Time here is measured by ethics, not by fireworks. Responsibility, reflection, renewal of character. Different calendar, same world, but a different meaning of beginning. One year closes and another opens with intention. A new year rooted in memory, ethics, and responsibility. The Ethiopian calendar that lives in another timeline. Here, time doesn't match the Western world. The calendar follows its own system, its own rhythm. 12 months of 30 days, plus a small 13th month. A structure built around agriculture, seasons, and tradition, and shaped by faith, history, and identity. The result? Ethiopia runs about 7 years behind the Western date. Same moment in time, different year on paper. Children grow up learning their own timeline. People live modern life inside a different count of years, and their new year arrives in September, not January. A new beginning tied to springtime in their landscape. Culture and calendar move together, step for step, so people balance two systems at once when needed. One world, but parallel timelines. And this difference isn't confusion. It's heritage, continuity, and independence. Two calendars, neither canceling the other. Just two ways of understanding time, and one nation, living in a timeline of its own. Southeast Asian New Years shaped by monsoon seasons. Here, calendars weren't written by kings. They were written by climate, rain, heat, and survival. Life moved with the monsoon, not political decrees. So New Year began when the earth changed rhythm. Preparation, renewal, starting fresh before the rains. Some traditions welcomed the season with water rituals, cleansing the past, blessing the year ahead. Spirit, community, discipline, built into the calendar. Farming schedules aligned with New Year. Step for step, work, weather, and ritual formed one rhythm. Community grounded in season, not empire, because here, survival depended on timing, and the calendar learned from the land. New Year wasn't a fixed number. It was a season arriving. Different logic, same planet. A calendar shaped by weather, and written by the climate itself, not by kings. The hidden truth about January 1st. This date didn't come from the seasons. It doesn't line up with planting, or harvest, or nature. It came from politics, a decision made at the top, and enforced downward. January 4th worked for administration, armies, taxes, power. It standardized control, not seasons. The year began where authorities said it would begin. People changed their lives to match the calendar. And across the empire, compliance spread. Nature moved one way, the calendar moved another. For leaders, time became a management tool. For everyone else, it became a rule to follow. This wasn't about nature, or rhythm, or renewal. It was about order, authority, central control. And once it was locked in, the world kept carrying that decision. January 1 didn't rise from nature. It rose from power. And the calendar never forgot who chose it. The moment globalization demanded one calendar, commerce exploded. Ships, railroads, contracts everywhere. But every region kept its own calendar rhythm. One deal, 2 different years. Nothing lined up. Science struggled too. Results didn't match across countries. The world was getting faster, but time wasn't unified. Trains needed schedules, ships needed precision, and multiple calendars turned coordination into chaos. So pressure mounted. Pick one system or fall behind. Bit by bit, nations aligned to a single global framework. Trade stabilized, shipping synchronized. Data finally spoke the same language. Money, research, infrastructure, all locked together. Unity didn't come from agreement. It came from necessity. One calendar for one accelerating world. And once everything aligned, there was no going back. Time had become global infrastructure, and the world moved forward together. But culture refuses to obey the calendar. Governments changed dates, but people kept meaning. The celebration moved, the spirit didn't. Memories, songs, foods, they stayed locked to identity. But inside families, the real New Year lived elsewhere. Culture followed seasons, stories, and community. 2 calendars, one on paper, one in the heart. Empires rose, laws shifted, but traditions kept breathing. Even across oceans, rituals traveled with people. Not out of habit, but identity and belonging. Official time kept marching. But lived experience moved on its own rhythm, because meaning isn't assigned by paperwork. It's carried through memory and lineage. So people learned to live in 2 timelines at once, and neither one erased the other. Power can change dates, but culture keeps its meaning, and it refuses to let go. Time is not universal. Every culture tells time differently. Some follow the moon, some follow the sun, some follow the seasons, balance, light, and renewal. Others follow faith, ritual, and meaning. Same planet, different beginnings. Official dates said one thing, but lived experience said another. Every system carried a belief about life, what matters, what renews, what deserves to be remembered. 3 calendars, 3 meanings, practical time and spiritual time, coexisting side by side. No single calendar owned reality. Each one reflected identity, memory, and worldview, a mirror of what a culture believed about time itself. And the deeper truth is simple. Time isn't universal. It's cultural, meaningful, human-made. What we lost when the world standardized time. Efficiency won, but something human disappeared. Time once moved with weather, land, and community. Then industry arrived and turned time into schedule. Work wasn't tied to seasons anymore, but to machines. Days stopped listening to nature and started obeying clocks. Local New Year's moved to fit global alignment. Traditions survived, but their rhythm changed. One world stayed seasonal. The other became mechanical. Memory shifted from story to paperwork. And old ways of keeping time faded from daily life. Time became uniform, exportable, efficient, but it also became less personal. Some remembered when time felt local and wondered what vanished with it. We gained coordination. We lost rhythm. and a part of time that once belonged to place. What still survives today. The world counts down to January 1st, but in the same world, another new year waits. And another, when the earth returns to light. Another, built on reflection and responsibility. Another, living in a different timeline entirely. Another, shaped by rain and survival, all coexisting side by side. Global time for business, cultural time for meaning. The rhythm survives through memory, through language, through community, and through identity that refuses to disappear. One world, many beginnings, different calendars, same humanity. And the truth is simple. These New Years never left. They just learned how to live in the same world. The final realization, New Year was never just a date on a page. It was a rhythm, a meaning, a story told through the moon, through light and renewal, through memory and responsibility, through identity and time counted differently, through weather, survival, and the land itself. One planet, many beginnings. January 4th didn't erase them. They learned to live alongside it, because New Year isn't chosen by power. It's chosen by people, memory, and meaning, passed through generations, not calendars. And when you step back, you see the truth. New Year was never just a date. It was always a story, and every culture tells it differently. If this story changed the way you see New Year, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more history told this way. Thanks for watching.